First of all, I apologise for any background noise. It's because it's currently chucking it down outside and frankly there's not much I can do about it, but anyway, hello everyone! This is Remlos from 40k Theories, and welcome to the January 2025 edition of the Patreon Q&A sessions. As always, if you would like your questions answered, then click the link in the video description below and help support the channel by becoming a patron. Now, let's jump into the questions. Brandon A asks, just because Relic or Sega still owns the Dawn of War deal, can Games Workshop or Black Library still use some of the characters for stories? I have no idea because I'm not a legal expert, to be blunt. If I had to guess, I would imagine if the character was created by Games Workshop or Black Library, then I would assume so, but if it was one created by Sega or Relic, then that could be different. Yeah, suffice to say. But again, I'm not a legal expert, so I honestly don't know, to be honest. Sorry. If there was one 40k meme that you would like to see Games Workshop acknowledge and mention it in canon, what would it be? None, because most of the memes are shit, to be blunt. I don't know, Gilliman banging of rain, I don't know. I mean, Gav Forbes says it's canon, so who are we to argue, you know? Which faction do you want to see get a kill team box? Rebel Grots. That could be fun, yeah. Rebel Grots. Sigma Knight asks, where does the Imperium get the money to rebuild their cities after defending their worlds? The same way any other government does, taxes and tithes. If a Hive fleet comes across Magnus's kingdom, could Magnus and his legion be able to beat them? Like any battle, it would depend on a number of factors. You know, like size of the armies for instance, you know, weapons capabilities, psychic powers, etc, etc. I can imagine Magnus just opening up a warp rift in the middle of the Hive fleet. You know, kind of like what happened during the Battle of Macragge during the first Tyrannic War, where an Imperial ship just, you know, went straight into the heart of Behemoth's fleet and made an uncontrolled warp jump, which dragged most of the fleet into the warp, so yeah, I'd say he has a chance, Would the Ethereal Council leave some of their members in the dark when it comes to chaos? Maybe? I can imagine them doing so with, like, the younger members of the cast, but, like, I don't think it's been confirmed either way, to be honest. But I can imagine them doing so to the younger ones at the very least, yeah. Griffin of Might asks, do you think the reason GW is introducing the idea of there having been more Loyalists from the Traitor Legions than previously established is because they want to make some chapters be descendants of Traitor Legion Loyalists? Honestly, no. I think the reason is purely in regards to gameplay, because in the previous edition of Horus Heresy, like, you could have, most legions could be either Traitor or Loyalist, the way you played the game. But if you were Blood Angels, you had to be Loyalist, and if you were Word Bearers, you had to be Traitors. So, I think this is being done purely to allow players to have, like, more variety when it comes to gameplay, and, like, there being more stories is kind of a way to, like, justify, like, oh, if you want to have, like, Loyalist Night Lords or Traitor Iron Hands, for instance, here's your excuses, here's your reason, like, because of this, you are allowed to do so, you know, for lack of a better term. That's my view on it anyway. And finally, Adorg asks, in Elemental Council, the Tau Empire revealed that it has ambitions for Ultramar. How do you think an Ultramar Tau Empire war would go? Firstly, I've not read the book, so I don't know when exactly this story takes place. If it takes place around the time of the Plague Wars, then if Ultramar is still recovering from the Plague Wars, the Tau Empire could probably do better than expected because Ultramar would still be recovering from all the devastation left by the Death Guard, and that in itself would be an immense drain on resources because, you know, they suffered a lot of casualties during the Plague Wars, so if the Tau Empire attacked then, yeah, I can see the Tau actually doing a pretty good job. But if they attempt to attack Ultramar at full strength, yeah, that's not going to go well for the Tau, I'm sorry. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Tau can do very well against Space Marines, you know, better than people expect, you know, because we've seen it happen at Damocles, we've seen it happen at Taros. So, potentially I think it could be a much closer fought conflict than people might initially expect. And that concludes this edition of the Patreon Q&A sessions. As always, if you would like your questions answered, then click the link in the video description below and help support the channel by becoming a patron. Until next time, this has been Remlos from 40k Theories, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye!